Hi everyone, so today we're going to take a look at how to manage the different items within your Google Drive. Okay, so in the previous video we talked about the general user interface, and now we're going to actually get into the nitty-gritty of how to do some of the management for your files that are within Google Drive. Okay, so uh, first let's start off by taking a look at the little context menu that always appears when you right-click on an item that's within your Google Drive. So right here I have an image and I'm going to right click with my mouse. Once I right click, I'm going to get this little context menu. And so the context menu gives you a variety of different options that you could use to manage your files. Okay, so let's kind of run through them. So first we have preview, we have open with, share, get shareable link, move to, remove from starred, rename, view details, manage versions, make a copy, report abuse, download, and then finally remove. Okay, so let's take a look at each one of these and see what type of options you get when you take a look at these. Okay, so preview, we're going to click on preview. And so what preview does, it gives you a preview of that item. So as you can see, this is an image of and as you can see, you have the option to kind of zoom in or zoom out. You get all these really interesting little buttons that appear on your screen that help you manage and interact with the file. Okay, over here you have a little printer which indicates whether you want to print the photo, and then finally over here you have a little download item that gives you the option to download the image to your computer. Here you have more options. The three dots always indicate more options. And here you have even more options that you could work with. So you could share. So if clicking on share will allow you to share with other people, you could move it to another location within your Google Drive. You could remove star. You could rename the file and details, etc. Okay, so that essentially is all the items you get when you preview a file that's on your Google Drive. Okay, so next one, we're going to go down the line and we're going to take a look at open with. So open with allows you to open that file with different types of programs. And so as you get to work with some of these programs, you're going to see that you're going to have a variety of programs that could open up a picture file, or a variety of programs that could open up a word processing file, things of that sort. So opening with allows you to open it with a different file, different program, I mean. Okay, so it's very useful if you ever need to open it up with a different type of program. You could do that using this option. Here under share, you have the option to share the item, and if you click on it, you're going to get this little dialog box which gives you some really interesting options here. Okay, so it gives you, firstly, it gives you this URL, and it gives you an option to copy a link. Okay, so copying a link places that hyperlink that's highlighted into the clipboard, which means that you could paste it anywhere that accepts text. So if you're going to copy it into an email, you could do that. And a person that receives that email will be able to click on that link and access that file on their own computer remotely, as long as they have access to the internet. Also, if you have a document, such as a Word document, you can incorporate that hyperlink into your document so that people that receive the document could click on it and have access to that image, okay, or that document. So that's very useful, but this is where you get the shareable hyperlink for your document, for the file that you have selected. Finally, here you have enter email names or email addresses, and this is where you could add the email address of someone that you want to share the file with. So if you want to share this with your friend, you could type in their email in there, and this will create a very basic email that has a hyperlink, gives them access to that email, to that file. Okay, so a very easy way to share. Essentially, if you enter an email address here, it'll generate an email message and send it off to the other person, giving them access to that file that you've selected. Okay. Here you have shareable link, which essentially just gives you a smaller dialog box with the shareable link. Okay. Move to allows you to move that file somewhere else within your Google Drive. So as you can see, you get this little screen that allows you to choose a different folder location. And if you want to move this to a different folder location, you just click on this and you wait until this little button appears, move here. And just by doing that, you've moved the location of that item. Okay, so and so now if we look here, this is where it's going to be located now. Okay, so it's a very easy way to move your items. The other way that you can move your items is by just clicking and dragging, but you always have the move to option that allows you to have the same effect. Okay, so finally, remove star. Google Drive allows you to apply stars to your favorite files, and this helps you keep track of your favorite files. Okay, so as you can see, this one has previously had a star applied, and so whenever I click on starred, it appears here, so as one of my favorite files. Okay, I could always remove the star, and that removes it from my favorite list. Okay, so it no longer appears here, but it'll still appear in its original location. Okay, so you could always apply, you could add stars, you could remove stars to indicate your favorite documents. Okay, so that's also a very helpful way to manage the files that are within your Google Drive. Next, we have rename, and by clicking on rename, it gives you this option to change the name of the file. So by clicking on rename, it gives you this screen. So you could delete the file name, and you could type in a new name, and hit OK when you're all done. And so as you can see, it changes the name, and you no longer have that long name that we previously had. So that's a very good way to manage your item, your file. Okay, down here you have different options. Here you have view details. If you click on view details, you get this preview pane on the very side, which gives you more information about the size, storage, use, location, etc. Very helpful. These little icons indicate who you've shared the image with. Okay, so that's what this means. Under activity, you have a log of how the file has been changed. Okay, so just some basic information about the file and some of the details behind the file. So that's going to be available for all your items. Okay, manage versions. Okay, so if you have different versions of a document, more information will be shared there. Unfortunately, for this full file, we don't have much information here. Okay, so we're going to move on down, and we're going to click on make a copy. And so making a copy allows you to make a copy of that file. And as you can see, now we have two files by clicking on make a copy. Since each file has to have a different file name, it's going to add copy of in front as a prefix. Okay, so you're going to see copy of picture doc, but essentially it's the same file. It's just a copy of. Usually what people do is they make a copy of something and then they edit that file however they need to update it. So, they have copy, make a copy is listed here. Okay. So next we have report abuse, and report abuse is if you want to report any item to Google, they'll investigate it. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Usually has to deal with any of the following. So type of policy violated. So Google has a variety of policies that they have for the documents that are within their products, and so If it meets any of these criteria, you could indicate here by clicking on the radio button, then clicking submit, and then Google Drive will investigate accordingly. And then finally over here, we have download, which downloads that file to your computer. And then finally remove, which moves that file to the trash bin. Okay, so it sits in the trash bin until it's completely deleted. Okay, so there you go. So as you can see, when you right-click on a file, you're going to get a variety of menu options, and you could use these options to manage the file itself. You're also going to notice that without even right-clicking, if you select a file, you're going to get a couple of items right here on the very upper right-hand side. And so these items allow you to do many of the same actions that you saw within this context menu. Okay, so here you have the shareable link. Here you have a share. Here you have a preview. Here you have a delete. And here you have 3 dots. Okay, so the 3 dots are the same as the options that you see here. Okay, so you have kind of redundancy of where you could find these tools, but that just makes it a lot much easier to access those tools whenever you need them. Okay, so that in a nutshell is how you manage files within your Google Drive. Thank you very much.